There is definitely some evidence of foul play here. That looks pretty clean, actually. There is like a flatted spot here in our cylinder wall. Alright, well, I got a fun little project to work on today, and by little, well, it's not going to be so little. But I have a first gen Wolverine 700 here. This is a 2016 Wolverine 700 that the customer was out riding. It was overheating a bit. It shut off on him once. He got it started, kept going. It was still overheating. Stopped at a stop sign. It died, and then he never got it started afterwards. Now, he did get a code 21 come up on his dash, and he looked it up, replaced something with a thermostat, which is what a code 21 is for a 700 and a Grizzly, but not the Wolverines. So I looked it up in the Wolverines, and it was actually the crank position sensor, which made sense because it would crank and crank and crank. Battery was good. It was turning over fine, but it wouldn't start. So I pulled the plug, checked. Sure enough, no spark, so that sensor must be bad. It's not able to tell the crank position, and so it didn't know when to send spark. So I thought, oh, quick little easy fix. So I picked up a new sensor. This is the old one, put the new sensor in. Beautiful spark. We got fuel, we got air. Crank, 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 crank. Still no start. So now I got to thinking, uh-oh, well, if she's overheating, we better check the compression. So I got the compression tester out, did a quick compression test, and unfortunately, this was the results. So we are less than 50 PSI on a compression test. That ain't good. Not good at all. So, yeah, we've got some major issues here with this Wolverine now. Unfortunately, with the 708 super engines that are in these first generation Wolverine 700s, there are some issues, and losing compression, having engine failures like that is common enough in these that Yamaha actually produced a complete rebuild kit that they made available and is still available. So that is what I bought for this Wolverine. And it's actually a pretty nice kit, and you get all this stuff for under 300 bucks. Now, this might not seem like much for under 300 bucks, but you are getting a brand new piston, new rings, all your gaskets and washers and stuff you need, new head studs, and not only that, but a whole new entire cylinder. Hopefully our valves are in good shape. I'll, of course, clean them up, and I'll probably lap them, make sure everything's good there, because we're tore into it. I'd hate to put all this stuff in there and have a valve stick or a valve be wore out. So we will go over those thoroughly, clean them, lap them before we put those back in there. But I guess the thing now is to start tearing this guy down. I'm gonna have to pull the rest of these plastics off and this gas tank out so I can get into the crankcase side, because I'll have to get in there to find top dead center and all that fun stuff. So let's get started. Well, with the head cover off, I don't know if you guys noticed in the time lapse or not, but there is definitely some evidence of foul play here. Look at this is our exhaust side. Look at all this carbon buildup in here, which means that our exhaust valves have not been sealing. So that might actually be where we're losing our compression. Let's keep tearing into her and see what we find. Body off, maybe. Here's some. timing chain. Beautiful. All right, here we have her. At least this far. Not what I was expecting. By the looks of this in here, I was expecting to find our valves in a lot worse shape than what they were. That looks pretty clean, actually. These are exhaust valves here. But yeah, them valves look really good. Of course, I'm going to take them off, clean everything up, and lap them. But, I mean, those don't look bad. But I think since with the head studs out, the only other thing holding the cylinder on is these 2 8mm. So I'll loosen up all of this stuff. Once the cylinder's off, we can look inside it and check our piston and piston rings. It's pointless, I know, because I got all new stuff, but I want to check our ring clearance and everything, if it's not obvious or bad, to see exactly what happened here to this Wolverine. It's like a good detective story. Well, as you can see, I have dove into this quite a bit. We got everything apart. Here we got our old piston off, our old cylinder off. It's over here. I checked our ring gaps and they were still in spec. They weren't bad. But you can see here, I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up. There is like a flatted spot here in our cylinder wall where you can see that the rings weren't actually traveling like they should. So I think that's where part of our compression issue was with that. And then as you can see, I got the head tore, I got the valves all tore out. Here as we look into, this is our exhaust side, there's our water pump, this is our timing chain. And our one exhaust valve port here, look at all the carbon buildup in there. So I would say either our valve stem was bad or our valve itself was bad and not sealing. We got a little bit here in the other side. Our intake side looks gorgeous. So that was definitely not our issue. It was definitely here on the exhaust side. But if we look here on the combustion chamber side, I mean, that is looking pretty good as far as our valve seats and stuff. So I'm guessing it's a combination. Piston rings being wore, or again, they did overheat, so they may have actually warped their cylinder enough that the piston rings weren't getting a good seal. I don't have the calipers or any kind of dial indicator to check our clearances here on our cylinder itself, which I don't need to. We got a whole new cylinder. So I think that combined with maybe an exhaust valve seal leak here was definitely causing our compression issue. All right, so we've got the new cylinder in, the new piston and piston rings installed, reinstalled the water line and the oil line there, and that's pretty much as far as we can go for time being. I did go ahead and order new exhaust valves. Our intake valves seem to be fine. We'll clean them up a little bit, but I got new exhaust valves coming because I'd rather play it safe than sorry. And of course I got all new valve seals coming. I did clean this up. And on the next video, I'm going to end this video right here, but on the next video, we're going to check this for warpage. Also in that video, the parts will be here, and we'll finish putting this guy back together and see if we got compression, and then we'll see if we can fire. So guys, thanks for watching. Enjoying another job we got here at AMR Power Sports. If you guys are enjoying the videos of me working on the stuff here in my shop, make sure to let me know in the comments below, and we'll continue to do this. So again, thanks for watching. Thanks for all your support, every single one of you. I appreciate it. And until next time, God bless and keep on riding.